purpose of this is how do you actually accelerate fat loss, okay? And so the way that most people try to do that is they think there's going to be some special training program, some special diet, some special food, some special supplement. That is not how you accelerate fat loss, okay? How you actually accelerate fat loss is you reduce friction. That means anything that causes friction between you and doing the stuff, you want to get rid of that as much as possible, dial that back as much as you possibly can. So when that comes to training, okay, the more elaborate, complicated the program, the more friction there is. The more time requirement for some special program, the more studies you need to look at, the higher the friction. For food, same thing. The more complicated the recipe, the more ingredients, blah blah blah, like the more restrictive the diet, right? The more friction there is, the probability goes down, okay, that you're actually going to do it. So the first part is we reduce friction. The second part is the way that we do that is we have answers, we have moves for every possible scenario, okay, that you could encounter that would cause you to not do the stuff, okay? And the stuff that we're trying to do, what we're trying to do is we're trying to hit a certain number of calories every day, and we're trying to train every day, okay? Move our body every day. So when we look at food, okay, because food is going to be the biggest thing. There's a lot of people who still make time to work out, and yet they still don't look that great, or they don't look any different. So for food, that's going to be, or calories and food is going to be the number one thing. So you need to have a tool belt, a skill set that allows you to adapt to every situation, okay? So I'm just gonna list a few of the most common, and if you have answers for these situations, you are less likely to fall off at when you meet with any of these situations, okay? And so I'll list a few of the common scenarios, okay? You get into an argument with a spouse or whatever, right? You having a rough day at work where a bunch of things, went wrong. You forgetting your lunch at home. You are on vacation. You have to go to some event. So the more of these situations that you can list out and then you have answers for them, that's gonna be how you accelerate fat loss, okay? Because whereas most people, when they run into one of those situations, that's gonna cause them to now be inconsistent. And then the emotions start going, get disturbed. The thoughts start going crazy. Oh, another one, before I keep going. You look at the scale and the scale says something that you think it should not say, okay? It fluctuates. So the more answers you have to each of these scenarios, the faster the fat loss will happen. Why? Because you're not gonna have gaps where you're not doing stuff. You're not gonna have gaps where you got discouraged, frustrated, angry, upset, overwhelmed, and then next thing you know, 3 months have passed and you haven't done shit, and now, you may have gained 15 pounds in those 3 months, right? So that's how you accelerate fat loss. And most people don't have an answer for any of these. Most people, their only answer to a undesired situation or undesired circumstance is unhelpful emotions and thoughts, which just feed more unhelpful emotions and thoughts. Thus you get that downward doom spiral, right? So we want to break that. We don't need to be I didn't feel good. Okay, it's not that feel good. You just didn't have the skill or the solution for that given scenario. That is it. Okay. So anyways, in this particular video, I just wanted to give you that concept. And then, you know, I'll probably do, maybe today, maybe another day, I don't know. I'll do a breakdown. We'll list out all the different, and there's not a ton. There's probably 10 different scenarios that you could bucket everything into, that you run into that cause you to not do it, right? Another one might be, okay, something happens in the family and, you know, people are sad and then you don't do the stuff, right? That's another one. But all of these situations can be bucketed into maybe, you know, 10 categories. So we'll do another one. We'll list those out, and then we'll list out how do you adapt to each one. What decisions or answers can you have, right? Like, and I'll just give you 1 or 2 examples right now. Let's say you forgot your lunch, or you didn't make your lunch because whatever, the reason doesn't really matter. The point is, you have now entered the day, you've left your house, you don't have your food prepared. All right, rather than just say fuck it, we have answers for that. Okay, I'll give you concrete examples. First thing you do, you could go to a Walmart, you could go to a Target, you could go to 1,000 places, and you could go in before work, you can go on your way to work, you can go during your lunch, you can take a break and just go and get your protein situated. Okay, get some Oikos, get some Fage yogurt, whatever it is, get a protein shake, and now stack that protein and give yourself, okay, now I got 100 grams of protein accounted for. You're back on track. You never got off track. You had a answer to the situation that is actually going to continue to move you forward to the goal. So anyways, that's how you accelerate fat loss. Okay, not some magic secret supplement program, diet. Those things don't exist. They don't actually accelerate fat loss. Accelerating fat loss is all about your skill set and then your mental and emotional state, right? If you're not able to have equanimity, which is evenness of temper, then you are subject to the emotions that for most people just throws them all over the place. So let me know, you know, it would be very helpful if whatever situations that you can think of, and comment it, send it to me, and then we'll come up and bucket them and come up with answers for all of them, right? Because there is no scenario, there is no situation that actually prevents fat loss. The only thing that prevents fat loss is an inability to consistently stay in a calorie deficit and train over the course of every week for 52 weeks, for 26 weeks. That is it.